We all know that mass communication is the sending of messages to a very large number of people. But how can we better understand it? According to the functional approach, we can best understand mass communication by analyzing and examining how audiences and the society interact with the media and mass communicators in general.
We first need to know the role that is being played by mass communication. Mass media is spreading throughout every aspect of our lives. Since media performs multiple functions in our lifestyle, we also need to realize that different media has different primary uses, and such uses vary from different groups of people. Some use the same media content, but for entirely different reasons. Take a look at how Facebook is being used in these times, especially in our current situation with the administration. Some use it to air out their sentiments about what is happening with their government, while others use it as platform for their online classes. We can also analyze the role in two lenses. First, the macro analysis. This focuses on the apparent intention of the mass communicator and emphasizes manifested purpose inherent in the media content. This could be seen as how the society uses GMA's 24 Horas as a source of news. The second one is the microanalysis. This is looking through a close-up lens at the individual receivers of the content, the audience, and ask them to report how they use mass media. This now pertains on how each person uses media. Just like how others use Jessica Soho as a form of information gathering, while others use it for entertainment purposes only.
For a society to exist, certain communication needs must be met. As society became larger and more complex, communicating is difficult to be handled by single individuals. Throughout the following discussions, we will examine the consequences of performing communication functions by means of mass communication as opposed to interpersonal communication. Furthermore, there may be instances where these consequences are undesirable from point of view of the welfare of the society. These harmful or negative consequences are called dysfunctions. The first function is surveillance. This refers to what we call the news and information role of the media. The media have taken the place of sentinels and lookouts. The function can be divided further into two main types. First, warning or beware. In this, surveillance occurs when the media inform us about threats from natural calamities, depressed economic conditions, increasing inflation, or military attack. These warnings can be immediate or chronic threats. Now, we'll have the instrumental surveillance. It has to do with the transmission of information that is useful and help us in everyday life. News about films, stock market prices, new products, fashion ideas, recipes, and teen fads are example under the surveillance. Magazines and Reader's Digest are also performing surveillance, most in instrumental form. Let's tackle what are some of the consequences of relying on the mass media to perform the surveillance function. News travel much faster, especially since the advent of electronic media. This speed sometimes leads to problems. Inaccuracies and distortions now travel just as fast as truthful statements. As an example, one television network reported that Israel had been attacked by Iraqi Scud missiles that contained nerve gas, but no such attack had occurred. Another sequence is a bit more subtle. In prehistoric times, if a war broke out, it was fairly simple for people to find out about it. All of it was within the range of their eyesight, and seldom did it extend to other communities. Today, thanks to the mass media, there aren't any more boundaries, but the media now relays news from environments beyond our immediate senses that we cannot easily verify. Much of what we know about the world is machine processed, hand-me-down information. News is pre-screened for us by a complex arrangement of reporters and editors, or what we know, ticket-keeping. In today's world, with its sophisticated system of mass communication, we are highly dependent on others for news, that we are putting certain trust in media to do our surveillance. This trust is called credibility, an important factor in determining which news medium people find the most believable. On the dysfunctional side, media surveillance can create unnecessary misinterpretations. The media can carry stories about what might have happened to a person, thing, or an event. The fact that certain individuals or issues receive media attention means that they achieve certain amount of prominence. Sociologists call this process status conferral. The audience believes that if you really matter, you will be the focus of mass media attention. If you are the focus of media attention, then you really matter. Another function is interpretation. The mass media do not just supply facts and data, but also provide information on the ultimate meaning and significance of those events. Stories that ultimately make it into paper, the newscast or media organization website have been judged by various gatekeepers involved to be more important than those who didn't make it. These also can be found on the editorial pages of newspapers. Interpretation, comments, and opinion are provided for the reader so that he or she gains an added perspective on the news stories carried on other pages. Articles that analyze the causes of an event or that discuss the implications of government policy are also examples of interpretation function. Critics hired by various media treat motion pictures, plays, books, and records are also examples of interpretation function. Editorial cartoons may be the most popular form. Consequence of the mass media performing this function is the individual is exposed to a large number of different points of view, probably far more than he or she could come in contact with their personal channels. Because of this, a person can evaluate all sides of an issue before arriving at an opinion. Additionally, the media make available to the individual a wide range of expertise that he or she might have access to through personal communication. However, certain dysfunctions that may occur, since media content is public, any criticism or praise of an individual, group, or lifestyle is also public, and might have positive or negative consequences for the medium involved. Finally, there is also danger that an individual may, in the long run, come to rely too heavily on the views carried in the media and lose his or her critical ability.